I'm just going to show a few more three-dimensional feature techniques, and I will start out with some easier ones. You can start with a small square of cardstock and just make one cut. When you overlap at that cut, you'll get kind of a cone shape. It's very pointy. It's going to be pointy because there was just one cut. The more cuts you make in, the more curvy it will be. So that is something you might use for a cheek or maybe an eye. It's actually how I did my otter eye, but very small. And just to demonstrate, I want to show you how I make kind of a brow bone or eyelid. You can just punch in that point. Kind of add a crease on one side, and there, that could work as kind of like a brow bone or an eyelid if you were to put like a big eye in there. So there's that. Also, you could do the same thing, but with more of a overlap. Just keep going, and you end up with a cone. You can even go pointier. But if you did this, you would want to add a skirt in. So you'd want to start out by cutting it. This is really small. I didn't really give myself enough material to work with. This I could probably tape down directly, but obviously when I cut this out of oak tag. But anything more extreme of an angle, I couldn't tape something coming off of my mask just perpendicular. I would have to add a skirt in. And here's one of my poster examples of the skirt. You would just cut tabs all the way around, and then it goes on much easier. All right, so another method is, say you wanted to add ears to your mask. It's a good idea to sketch it out first. So this looks like maybe a dog ear. You can add one or two cuts to the bottom. I'm going to add 2 cuts. I wouldn't want you just to tape this two-dimensional feature to your mask. It would need to become three-dimensional. So to do that, you overlap just like that. Hold it up to your mask, see if you like it. If you do, go ahead and mark ears ×2, and then you will add this to your collection of three-dimensional templates. Say I wanted to make a beak. Good idea to sketch it out first. This is a pretty small beak. You would want to cut 2 of them. Well, that was fast. I taped mine just to show you what it looks like. They're taped together on just this top edge. And hold it up to your mask and see how it looks. I wouldn't worry about this area underneath. You definitely don't want to leave any openings like that. It's just really hard to get paper mache in there. You would just worry about that later when you're taping your tag board to your mask, and you could grab some scraps of tag board and just kind of bridge the gap with those scraps. Another technique would be to also tape along the bottom edge to where you have an opening, and you can actually stuff some crumpled up newspaper inside, and that could be a stuffed technique where you can have a stuffed beak. It would end up being a little narrower, so keep that in mind. And also you can do that for really anything. You can do like hair floofs, a horn, chin, yeah, so you can have fun with that. Another technique is what I call mini cuts, and it's because there are many cuts in it. So you start by drawing out a shape that you want to pop off from the mask, and then you will just cut a bunch of tabs to that shape. I went with a simple circle, and then you can see if you were to overlap and tape each of these tabs, you'll get a three-dimensional shape to form. And you can see how this looks on your mask. Maybe some huge eyes, or you can even attach this to a different feature on your mask. You can put this on your muzzle to make it a little rounder, or snout. Yeah, cheeks, really anything, and you can do this with any shape. I have an example here of kind of like a muzzle shape where you'd want to draw out this kind of like upside down half of a heart shape. It is a little tricky, so something you can do instead of that is this technique, which is a little easier. What you would do is whatever shape you want to pop off the mask, you would draw it out first, and you know, if I wanted it to be more symmetrical, I could have folded that in half and cut it while it was folded. And then you could grab a scrap of tag board, and you can just go ahead and use the tag board and you would want to just tape it or hold on to it to tape it onto this piece. I actually did a long piece of tape on the scrap and then cut a bunch of tabs into it, made it a little easier to attach. And then I cut a bunch of tabs. I gave it a skirt again so it could attach to my mask a little easier. Here's another example of mini cuts, and what I meant by like layering, you could layer, well, even do a nose like that. All kinds of possibilities. Okay, I think that is all the techniques I want to show. Go ahead and experiment with this cardstock and have fun. Good luck.